People deluded, I'm back again. Now, Ben Woodburn, he plays for Liverpool on loan at Sheffield United. And I thought, obviously, he's gone on loan to Sheffield United. It's not gone to plan. And I thought it would make a good video. Now, you guys know I love Ben Woodburn. I've watched him do a lot of dirt for Liverpool's under 18s, under 23 side, youth gen. He's got a lot, man. He's got skills. He can dribble. He can link up play with teammates. He's got a bit of pace. He can play on the left, play on the right, play in the 10. He's a player I think's got a lot of potential and one that I think's going to go all the way at Liverpool, could go all the way. He's 18, just turned 19, I believe. So, obviously, I'm not saying he's going to be that level tomorrow, but he's someone that could be blooded in. And he's only made 8 appearances at Sheffield United, in fact 10 in total, and it's not going to plan for him. But it is a lesson to all young players. First and foremost, he needed first team football. He needed to play, he needed to kick on, he didn't want to stagnate. But I do believe some players, even if they're completely different, but you look at Iwobi, there's some players that benefit or could benefit potentially more from staying in and amongst the team, showing the manager something in training and possibly getting his chances like that. I say Iwobi because I do honestly believe if Iwobi went on loan at Arsenal, I don't think he'd be at Arsenal because he's not scoring or getting mad assists, or Iwobi hasn't necessarily got. I think he's a good player and I love Iwobi. He's got good link-up play and stuff, but he's not necessarily got anything where you're wowed by. And many people at Arsenal, even him, he didn't know if he'd make it at Arsenal. End of the day, he has, but if he went on loan, maybe he wouldn't have stood out to the level to get an opportunity that he did, right? Whether that was for the youth level at Arsenal or training with Arsenal's first team, and Wenger went, okay, cool, this lad's got something about him. Woodburn's different in the sense that Iwobi obviously had Akpom, he had Crowley, he had Gnabry, he had Zelalem, he had a lot of other players getting a lot of hype. People have been hyping Woodburn. He can't deal with it. He has to deal with it, but he can't be accountable for that because he's not hyping himself. He's finding it tough. You saw him record. There's talk of being recalled by Liverpool in January because not really having any game time. You saw him play for Liverpool's second string side because he's not really getting that game time. And he has to learn a lot. Firstly, for me, it goes where I do, again, I'm not watching Sheffield United actively. They were on Sky Sports the other day, but I'm not watching them actively to be giving informed opinions. But to me, because of just looking at how he sorts of plays and stuff like that, if you're a manager in the Championship and you're trying to fight and get out, I think I would play him, but I could see how people might not consider him a fighter and stuff like that. He's not instantly, he still has to develop. People need to be able to trust him. Just look at his stats for the under 23 side at Liverpool. 10 goals and 8 assists in 26 appearances. If you're not bringing goals and assists, which he's trying to add to his game, which is catch-22, because to be experienced, you need to get experience and you need to go for experiences like this. But he's not adding goals in this. He's not currently scoring goals and assists in his game or got that to his game to deserve to be. I wouldn't say deserves the wrong word, but to be an outstanding candidate to start. I don't think he's a nucleus of the team, a creative hub at the moment for them to start. And he's also going to learn a lot. I mean, he's gone at Liverpool. Obviously, I think he's very humble. But at Liverpool, people know you're one of the best. People know you're amazing. You can rarely do any wrong. Sheffield United, yeah, you've got talent, you've got ability. They can recognise that. But one, you're not their player full time. So they're under no obligation to develop you unless you're showing them things for them to want to play you or the manager to want to play you. Secondly, they're trying to either stay in the Championship or fight out the Championship. People are trying to keep onto their contracts and get new deals. So everybody's fighting. So they're not really going to care that this kid from Liverpool is good. He's going to have to fight to earn their trust, to convince the players and convince the management, the fans, and clearly everybody knows he's talented. But this is what it goes beyond. Obviously, this will make him a stronger individual because it will give him a grounding. Football's about opinions. There's going to be times where you're not rated as a footballer. I mean, the great Ronaldinho, there's managers that never rated him. Bernardo Silva, he's now at Manchester City. He wasn't rated by Benfica's manager at the time and wasn't getting a real look in of sorts. Football's about opinions, so he's going to have to go through this sort of thing. So it'll make him a stronger player. Of course, having seen what he's done at youth level for Liverpool, having seen him play for Wales at international level, I would have loved to have seen him have a good season at Sheffield United, and he can still have that, but he's got to turn it around. Sheffield United will play young players. You obviously saw young Brooks playing as well before he got his move to Bournemouth. But if we just have a look at the Championship table for context, because again, like they're fifth people. Like Sheffield United are fifth, 34 points. They're drawing with West Brom, so what? They're in the playoff. They're in a playoff place essentially. So if they're trying to add consistency, trying to keep fighting for their to stay within the pack, then they can only pick players that are performing, or the manager can only pick players that he knows are going to give him a certain level of performance. That's what I told you lot in the previous vid about. That's what goes against young players, because they're still very much hot and cold. Managers might look at it, okay, we've got a run of games. This player's bang average. He's not going to score. He's not going to do a mad pass. He's really going to play 5 out of 10. If I give him 10 games, he's really going to give me 5 out of 10. But I kind of know the base level I'm getting versus a young player, 17, 18, 19, some cases even 20, going on loan to a League One, Championship, etc. club. Some games going to have a 25 out of 10 game. Some games 0.5 out of 10. Some games a 5 out of 10, a 5 out of 10. Back down to 0, back up to 100 out of 10. Consistently up and down. Some managers, it sounds mad, but most people would want that guy who's sounds like a Maverick's, a bit hot and cold. But most managers, especially when they're trying to get stability in these leagues, or trying to get out of these leagues or get a run of results, they'll go with a player who hasn't really got any ability, but they know they're going to get a 5 out of 10 performance out of him. So to a degree, it's down to Woodburn, and just on a general basis, all young players to China, I wouldn't say aspire to play a 5 out of 10, but aspire to give the manager that confidence that you have that level of consistency that you can keep playing. But again, you can only get consistency with experience. You can only get experience with playing. Football's a microcosm of life. It's almost like Woodburn's a university student. He's got the uni degree. He's gone uni at Liverpool, very good, prestigious uni. He's got his degree. Now he's ready to enter the real world, and he's trying, but it's not quite happening because he needs to gain experience. But he needs to gain experience so people will listen to him and he can get a role. But to gain experience, he needs to be given a role so he can gain the experience. It's catch-22 in football and life of sorts. But yeah, even if we look at Sheffield United's recent results, because again, I'm not following them, so Sheffield United, if you're in the comments and them things there, I'd love for your opinions. But if we just look at Sheffield United's results, type that in. Cool. So what? They 3-2. They beat Brentford 3-2. That must be the game on about, was on Sky Sports. Then after that they had a 2-2 draw with Rotherham. Then they had a 0-0 draw with Sheffield United in Sheffield Derby. They lost to Nottingham Forest 1-0. They beat Wigan 4-2, and they've drawn with Stoke, and they lost to Derby, and then they beat Fulham. I'm going back to October now, and then they beat, not Fulham, sorry, Hull. So in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the last 8 games, they've only won what out of 8? 1, 2, 3. 3 wins in the last 8. Forgive me if I'm wrong and my maths is poor. So if that's a team that's really in different form. So if they're trying to get a run of results together and the player is not performing or giving the manager anything to give any confidence with, then he's got to do what he's got to do in it. Because the manager, whoever's in charge, his job is to get them playing better, to get them staying in amongst the playoff spots. That's what I deem it would be a case of. So if Woodburn's not giving him any courage or encouragement to suggest that, then it is what it is. But I think Woodburn will turn it around. I think he's going to have a good future in the game, whether that's at Liverpool or wherever, man. I think he's a good player. I like him a lot, man. I think he can make good runs as well. I love his dribbles. But, yeah, man, I cheer on every young player. So hopefully he turns it around. If not, and Liverpool deem it's appropriate to recall him, hopefully he can find an appropriate club that will allow him to play and stuff. But, yeah, on that note, people deluded. I've got nothing more to add, so I'm out. People deluded. Now, I was watching Red Star versus Liverpool's under-19s, and I was impressed by Camacho. I've known about the player, but I thought I might as well make a vid. And I believe he scored in his unofficial first-team debut of sorts against Tranmere in pre-season. I like him a lot. I do believe it's crunch time for him, not in a sense of if he doesn't develop in the next year or two, it's going to be over. What I mean by this is he probably will be given a new contract by Liverpool, but his contract's up until 2020, so he's got a season. He's 18 years of age. They've got Woodburn. They've got however many other talented players in similar positions. I'm sure he doesn't want to be stuck at under 19, 23 level for ages. So if he signs a new deal at Liverpool and is loaned out, then great. But I'm sure he'd want to develop. So it's kind of now or never to show something or show Jurgen Klopp that, alright, cool, yo, listen, it's time to bring me in. I like him a lot. And I mean, even if you look at his career, I mean, someone that's played for Manchester City, Liverpool and Sporting Lisbon already, that's a good career to have in your CV already, to be fair with you. I believe Angel Gomez of Manchester United is his cousin. But in that game against Red Star, you saw two sides to him. He's my sort of winger. He wants to embarrass people. You saw him. I'm so sure he did one cheeky nutmeg to someone. And what impressed me the most, he faked a shot and then dragged it back and had an effort. But his decision making at times can be terrible. He struck one terrible free kick from a terrible angle in that same game as well. But he was involved in the goal eventually. It was a scruffy finish by Curtis Jones, who I don't believe had the best of games, who is still a good talent for Liverpool as well. On the top of Curtis Jones, there's Curtis Jones, had Woodburn, and all these other young players in similar positions that are fighting to be seen by Klopp. So yeah, he's a sort of player I like, man. He can stay on the flanks and hug the touchline. He can come inside and link up well with his teammates. He can embarrass people and sit them on their bum with skills. He's got a lot in his game, man. At the time of recording, so far in the season as well, 8 appearances, 4 goals and 3 assists. So he seems to be on a bit of a roll and adding consistency. From what I've seen of him, he looks a bit hot and cold. He needs to be at it every week, but he is someone that looks like a talent, really looks like a talent, man. And he might have a good career. What I like about him as well is he's got that bravado. He wants to be the one to take responsibility for Liverpool. I'm so sure it was either him or Akinde. They were arguing with Adam Lewis about taking a free kick. I don't know why you'd moan with Adam Lewis, because you know how he is with the free kicks. If you don't know who Adam Lewis is, he's a left back that I think will get chances at Liverpool very soon if things go right for him. Lovely free kick that he struck into the top corner. I mean, Beckham would be proud of that. But back to this, yeah, man, I just think he's a good player. He did fade out of the game, and he has faded out of a few games I've seen him, but he's not alone. That happens to most young players of his age. I've seen it happen to Nelson and Sancho in the Bundesliga. This is why I get amazed when people are saying this, that, and the other and hailing them as messiahs. I love Jadon Sancho and Nelson. Who was the one speaking about Nelson before the first team debut? And I was watching Jadon Sancho for United, not United, for City. Obviously, I knew about him when he was at Watford. And then obviously I was watching him for the under-17s of England, and I've seen the trajectory. So it's not that I don't like these players. What I don't like is hype, because the same people that big these players up don't watch these players, are not honestly watching these players and seeing everything, or they wouldn't say this. And they're the same players, that people that will turn around in a year or two and say these players are overrated. That's the name of the game. People build you up to make you fail. The same rope in life you climb up on is the same rope eventually the people will tie around your neck. But it is what it is, man. He's a good player from what I've seen of him personally. So yeah, man. And I have to say it again, Manchester City, Sporting Lisbon and Liverpool at 18 years of age already on your footballing CV is a madness. So yeah, man, there's nothing more to say on that front. People deluded, stay safe, man. I'm out.